Hello, today's date is September the 11th, 2023. So today's date, September the 11th, 2023. It's the 22nd anniversary of September 11, when those 3,000 people died in New York City. And here in Australia, it was about 8:45 when that happened in America. It was about 8:45 in New York City in the morning, but here in Australia it was about 12:45 in Australia. So 3,000 people died September 11, and all those people died because these Muslim terrorists, extremists, I'm not putting down people of the Muslim faith, but these extremists hijacked an aeroplane and crashed it into the World Trade Center. And I was 40 years old at the time, and now I'm 62. So so very sad, So the Wood Hill Cemetery, I'm going to show you around the Wood Hill Cemetery, and this is about 30 kilometres from where I live. And I love cemeteries. I find them very peaceful, and those Muslim extremists who bombed the World Trade Center in 2001 thought they were doing God a favour. They thought they were doing God a favour, and that they were going to get rewarded for killing all those infidels in New York City. And I'm sure there must have been some Muslims in the that terror attack, innocent Muslims maybe in the building at the time. And Jehovah's Witnesses believe there's going to be a global genocide of all those who are given the opportunity to worship Jehovah but refuse to worship Jehovah. They'll get a hailstone on the head as big as a watermelon. Now here in the cemetery, in the Bow Desert, in the Wood Hill Cemetery, I'm in the Wood Hill Cemetery. I'll give you a panoramic view. We're in Queensland, Australia. We're only going to get a top of about 23 degrees today. It is just early spring, but I have to be careful of snakes, because you get the king brown snakes are coming out, and the taipans, and they can kill you if you get bitten. So you have to be careful. Snakes are coming out in Australia because it's kind of springtime. It is springtime. Now, what I want to say, what do I think happens at death? Well, I don't know. I don't know what happens to us when we die. I'm an agnostic. I'm an agnostic. So I don't know what happens to us when we die. But I do want to show you an interesting headstone. Now, this lady's name is Jane. Say hello to Jane. Now, Jane, the beloved wife of David Ferguson, died 10th of March 1912, aged 81 years. But see what she's written. It says, "To the cold grave to which we haste, there is no act of pardon past, but fix our doom on all remains, where everlasting silence reigns." I'll read that again. "To the cold grave to which we haste, there is no act of pardon past, but fix our doom on all remains, where everlasting silence reigns." Now, in Australia, we have a lot of atheists and agnostics in Australia, but I didn't think there were atheists back in 1912, not 81-year-old agnostics. Now, if Jane died in 1912, she would have been born in 1831. 1831. Now, here down below here, it's commemorating the tragic death of George Allen Ferguson, born the 18th of April, 1861. I was born in 1961. I was born in April. I was born on the 21st of April, 1961. But this George Allen was born on the 18th of April, 1861. He's 100 years older than me. Accidentally killed on the 13th of March, 1873. Buried in this grave on his parents' property, Wood Hill. The surrounding site was officially proclaimed the Verisdale Cemetery on 26th of April, 1879. So this kid, he was about a month short from his 12th birthday. So he's 100 years older than me. So I was born 21st of April 1961, and this kid was born on the 18th of April 1861. How sad. Jane must have been his grandmother. But say hello to Jane, even though you've been dead for 111 years. Jane, what you've written is amazing. To the cold grave to which we haste, there is no act of pardon past. So I'll do it again. To the cold grave to which we haste, there is no act of pardon past, but fix our doom on all remains where everlasting silence reigns. And also David Ferguson, that must have been her husband, died September 6, 1914, aged 88. Wow. So he must have been born in 1826. 1826. Now, I want to show you the oldest grave in the cemetery. I think this is the oldest grave in the cemetery. We have in memory of William Banks, died 24th of January 1876, aged 25. And I can't read that. I can't read. What's it say? I don't know what that says. It's so worn away. But this young man, William Banks, he died in 1876 at the age of 25. So he would have been born in 1851. This is the oldest gravestone in the cemetery. It's the oldest gravestone in the cemetery. Now, as I said, I don't know what happens at death. I have no idea what happens at death. I don't think anything happens. I think we just go to sleep and dream a dreamless sleep, and the dead are dead. And I'll give you an illustration. As a Jehovah's Witnesses, we were good at illustrations. The first photograph that was ever taken was taken in 1837 by a French character, right? Now, this, so 1837, first photograph, right? Now, if you YouTube, after this video, YouTube 1840s photographs, because the 1840s, that decade, was the first decade where the whole decade's on photo. So they're in really good condition too. So the whole entire decade is on photographs from 1840 to 1849. The whole decade is on photographs. And when you look into the eyes of these people who lived in the 1840s, some of them are smiling, and you know, the clothing and the hairstyles, and you think, well, what was life back in the 1840s? What was it like? And it's very interesting. It's very interesting to think that people living back in the 1840s And it's just fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating, you know. And in the 1840s, those people were living, they existed, but we were dead. We were dead. If anyone out there in YouTube land, tell me what your favourite song from the 1840s was. What was your favourite book from the 1840s? What was your favourite stage play from the 1840s? Well, you can't tell me because none of you were alive in the 1840s unless you believe in reincarnation. And in my last life, I was a mosquito, but I was a good mosquito. I didn't bite anyone, so I turned out like this. Human being born in 1961. But before I was mosquito in my other life, I was a sea slug, but I was a very naughty sea slug. And if I tell you what I did when I was a sea slug, you wouldn't want to talk to me ever again. You know, so that's what I just want to say. And here's a lovely, this is sad. Susan E. Marshall, 9th of February 1985, 26th December 2019. Beloved daughter, sister, auntie, great auntie, the loss of our light and joy is now shining in heaven. Loved and remembered always. How beautiful. This poor young woman was only 34 when she died, and I hope her parents' wish comes true and they meet up in heaven, because that is a beautiful belief. I think the afterlife belief is a beautiful belief, and it gives us comfort. It gives us comfort, you know, it gives us a lot of hope and comfort, and I'm all for that. I think we need something, and there very well could be life after death, you know, we don't know. Andrew Gould, the dearly beloved son of Archibald and Catherine, born February 25th, 1870, died September 24th, 1894. Wow, the 1890s. Leaves have their time to fall, but thou hast all times of death. That's a nice one. So Andrew Gould, I'll read that one again. The dearly beloved son of Archibald and Catherine Auld, born February 25th, 1870, died September 24th, 1894. Leaves may have their time to fall, but thou hast all times of death. That's so very true. We have all times of death. You don't know when you're going to die, how long you're going to live for. So it is interesting. And here's another one. This man was born in 1933 and he died in 2012, and he would have been 79 years old. My time has come, I am at rest, I am the sunset in the west, I am the clouds that race above, where I watch over those I love. Do not stand at my grave and cry, I am not there, I do not die. So hear these words that here I say, I am the love that guides your way. Well, what a beautiful saying. What a lovely poem. That's a nice poem. And all these people have different beliefs. We really don't know what happens at death. I'm more inclined to be an atheist, right? And I know that sounds very depressing, but to me the evidence kind of points to atheism as the right religion. Now, I'm just going to make sure there's no snakes in there. Right, August, Evelyn May, the beloved daughter of Joseph and Elizabeth Waring, who departed this life August 14, 1926, aged 33. So they would have been born in 1893. Sleep on, beloved, sleep and take thy rest. We love thee well, but Jesus loves thee best. Loved thee best. So that's a lovely poem, isn't it? I love all the poems in the cemeteries. They're very sweet, you know. Here's another one. Born Donald Robert Mackay. John Mackay, born at Bowraville, June 25th, 1871, who died at Beaudesert, May 6, 1918. So he was 47. This life for this country he gave. Oh, wow. Oh, he might have died in World War One. This life for his country he gave. So he must have died in, gentleman must have died in World War One. Wow. Incredible. He fought for his country. Now, here we have here another one. I'll just show you the beautiful scenery. Just the beautiful scenery that's around here. Susan Jane Harrison, who died March 27th, 1892, age 54. So she would have been born in 1848. Oh, she was born in the 1840s. That was the decade I was talking about earlier. People in the 1840s existed in the 1840s. They don't exist now, but we exist, but we didn't exist in the 1840s. And the people in the 1840s, they don't exist anymore. Maybe that's what death is. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Also George Harrison. George Harrison the Beatle. Also George Harrison, husband of the above, who died January 21st, 1904, aged 73 years. George Harrison from the Beatles. Wow. Isn't that incredible? George Harrison from the Beatles. George Harrison, husband of the above, who died January 21, 1904. Wow. George Harrison. But he died in 1904. Isn't it amazing? If he was alive and he died in 1904 at the age of 73. So he would have been born in 1831. He would have been born in 1831, the same year as the lady who died in 1912. The year of the Titanic was 1912. So imagine if he lived for another 60 years, 1964, they had Beatlemania and George Harrison was famous. Oh, here's some more Harrisons. William Henry Harrison, Bertha Harrison. Wow, you know. So, I don't know if any of you have been to Australia before, but it's a very dry continent, and we have funnel web spiders, we have all types of snakes, we have the Irukandji jellyfish. The Irukandji jellyfish is about as big as a little fingernail, and once the water temperature gets to 25 degrees Celsius, if they bite you, it is agony, absolute agony. And a lot of people who've been stung by the Irukandji jellyfish have died from a heart attack, and even under morphine. They were given morphine at the hospital. The morphine did not kill the pain. Of the Irukandji jellyfish. It's a type of thing a snake would like. See that? Snakes would like that. Now, 1891. Elijah Saville, the beloved husband of Anne Saville, who died March 30th, 1891, age 56. Well, they would have been born in, trying to think. I don't know. Oh, what's the, 1845? 1845. They would have been born in 1845s. 1840s again, that decade that's all on photograph. So after this video, you've got a YouTube 1840s photographs. 1840s photograph. That's the first decade that's all on photograph. 969. I was 8 years old. That's the year my father committed suicide. I was 8 years old. My father was a doctor. He wasn't a Jehovah's Witness, because I didn't become a Jehovah's Witness until 1988. 1969 I was 8, and that's the year my father suicided at the age of 38. And because my mother died in 1962 when I was 1, and my father was a doctor at a hospital, and he got addicted to pethidine, which is a painkiller, and he died. He got caught stealing pethidine from the hospital, and he got deregistered as a doctor, and he lost custody of us children. Me and my brother was in an orphanage in 1968. We were in an orphanage, and he died in 1969. So when my dad died, we went to live with our grandparents. Petey Allen Leonard Muller, born 1938, died 1998. He was 60, 2 years younger than me. Petite, you gave us love, memories live within our hearts. Send your love from above, treasured always in God's love, in God's care. Love always your loving family. That's beautiful, isn't it? Isn't that a lovely poem? I love these poems on the graves. They're beautiful, aren't they? Aren't they lovely, you know? And here I want to go to a Jehovah's Witness sister. In the year 2004, her name was Barbara Masick. She was born in 1923, so she'll be 100 this year. She'll be 100. And Barbara died in 2004 at the age of 81. And Barbara's here. Me and an elder lowered Barbara down into the grave. We lowered her coffin into the ground with straps, you know, these nylon straps the undertakers had, and we lowered her body into the ground in 2004, which was 19 years ago, and Barbara was 81 years old. She was born in 1923. And her husband's name was Vladimir. He was born in 1920, and he died in 1991 at the age of 71. And an elder really made me cranky. An elder said to me, Barbara's husband Vladimir wasn't a Jehovah's Witness. He knew it was the truth. He knew it was the truth, and he won't be resurrected. And it really made me cranky with the elder. And my wife was cranky too. Nikki was cranky too, because we both said, how dare that elder judge Barbara's husband, you know. But the elder said because Vladimir knew it was the truth and he didn't accept it. And that's what they think of us apostates. You know it's the truth, and you just don't accept it. And Barbara's daughter, Elizabeth, we came back here a week later after Barbara was buried, and there was a gravekeeper, like a caretaker, over there, and over in that hut, and he came over. I said, "G'day," and I said, "Can I help you?" I said, "We're just visiting our friend Barbara, you know." And I said, Barbara had a daughter, Elizabeth. Now, Elizabeth was born in 1953, and she died in 1972. So she died at the age of 18 or 19, right? Elizabeth was either 18 years or 19 years old, born in 1953, died in 1972. And the gravekeeper said to us that the daughter, she got involved with Jehovah's Witnesses. Yeah? And he didn't say she took a life, but he said that. And I thought, involved with Jehovah's Witnesses. And I thought, well, wow, you know. And it was only, I was thinking, was she disfellowshipped and suicided? Was she disfellowshipped and suicided? You know, I don't know, you know. But I wonder, because a lot of people suicide when they get disfellowshipped. Because it is very, it's very upsetting to be shunned, you know, and especially for a 19-year-old girl who was probably born into the religion, brought up in the religion, and get shunned by all her peers. I couldn't imagine that. At least I got brainwashed into Watchtower in 1988 when I got brainwashed into Watchtower in 1988 when I was 27. Didn't get baptised till I was 35 in 1996, so it doesn't really affect me. And Nikki was 16 in Nikki was 16, in 1988 when I was 27. And I met Nikki 10 years after. I met Nikki in 1998 when she was 26 and I was 37, and we got married. But the first 16 years of my wife's life, first 16 years of Nikki's life, she wasn't a Jehovah's Witness, so she celebrated Christmas, Easter, everything, so yeah. And I had my first 27 years Watchtower free. Nikki had her first 16 years Watchtower free. And I was always an agnostic atheist. Oh, no, more of an agnostic, tell you the truth. No, more of an agnostic. I've got to say more of an agnostic, because I did kind of believe in God. I thought there must be a God. There's got to be something responsible for this, I didn't know what it was. So I still am agnostic. But when it comes to being an atheist, I don't know. I don't want to be an atheist. It'd be nice if there was something, but I just don't see the evidence for it, So there's rain. This has been a very dry year. It's been a very dry year, this one. So, how long's that been? 27? Are you enjoying this? There's beautiful gum trees and the beautiful sky. Beautiful life that we have. We have a little blimp in history. And are we gone forever? Are we gone forever? Who knows? The dead are dead quiet about death. Death, the final frontier. Yes, death, the final frontier. My mother died in 1962 at the age of 30. I was only 1. My father died at the age of 38, 1969, when I was 8. And they haven't told me. They haven't contacted me. They haven't told me where they are. My big sister Lisa, who wasn't a Jehovah's Witness, she was also always an atheist, my sister. And in 1988, when Jehovah's Witnesses came around to our house, I was living with my big sister, and she said, "Don't let them in, Justin, they're a cult." That's what she said. And I ignored her advice and I let them in. And and she was right. She was right. And she was an atheist, my sister. She wasn't agnostic. No, she was really sure there was no God. Because if there was a God, he wouldn't have let Mum die. Because my sister was only 4 years old when Mum died. And she was 11 when Dad died. So, This person died in 1902. They were 65 years old. So they would have been born in... in 1837. So they must have been born in 1837. William Everdell, many other afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivereth him out of them all. And his wife, Elizabeth, died July 1926, age 91. So she would have been born in 1835? 1835, yeah, wow. But how's that house over there? Look at this beautiful birds. I don't know what they are. Now, what birds are they? I think they're rainbow lorikeets. But, yeah. But I'm going to leave her now. I think, yeah, it's been half an hour. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for watching the video. Like, subscribe, comment. And next Monday is my 5th shuniversary. 18th of September 2018 is my 5th shuniversary. I've been dead to Jehovah's Witnesses. And I'm still alive, and if they want to treat me like I'm dead, it's their problem. But I'm not going to treat them like they're dead, but I'll say hello to them, but they're not going to say hello back. Well, it's their problem, not mine. They want to listen to 9 guys in New York City. Well, too bad. It's their problem, it's not my problem, you know. So, yeah, I'll leave you to it. From the Woodheddle Cemetery, Queensland, Australia, on the September 11th, 2023. Bye-bye.